YouTube, and welcome back to Doctor Who First and Last Reviews. I am Davros and I am a Whovian. So, we're now on the 5th Doctor. God, it's going by fast. So, for the first and last stories of the 5th Doctor, we have Castrovalva and the Caves of Androzani. So let's get on with the review of Castrovalva. So, taking off directly after Logopolis ended, the Doctor is exhausted by his regeneration, and the companions Nyssa, Tegan, and Adric have to get the Doctor back to the TARDIS and help him recover. But of course, the Master is up to his usual stuff and is causing mayhem for the gang, and he has to, and the Doctor can't really do much about him because he's in his post-regeneration state, and a place where he can go to recover is a place called Castrovalva. So let's get on to the likes and the dislikes on this one. First of all, my likes. I liked Anthony Ainley in this one. To me, he kind of stole the show a bit as the Master, up to his dastardly ways. And also we had Adric kidnapped by the Master, and basically quite a majority of that is because Matthew Waterhouse, who played Adric, he wasn't feeling too well, so they had to think on a bit. Also, Nyssa and Tegan pretty much had to help the Doctor and that in Castrovalva and stuff. And of course the Master's meddling with the TARDIS. He's doing all kinds of stuff because he is, of course, evil as always. So yeah, I like the Master in this basically. And that I also liked Janet Fielding in this as Tegan. I felt in the first serial with Tom Baker that she did, I just thought she was a bit useless. And then in this, she sort of came out of her shell more and made herself part of the TARDIS crew. And also, Nyssa seemed to be the brains of this as well. I liked her, how she thought things through and everything. And that. What else? I think that's pretty much it for the likes. My dislikes. Now, the Doctor spent a lot of this story regenerating in his post-regeneration process. So he was exhausted, he was tired, he just couldn't do anything much. And that he was talking in riddles at one point, imitating the 4 previous Doctors, or at least 1, 2, and 3, before him. And that it was all just. Yeah, I feel like we didn't get to actually really get to know Peter Davison's Doctor until like towards the end of this serial. But I don't blame Peter Davison for his for this. I blame the writing and that. But again, when the Doctor regenerated, they thought, let's have him exhausted by it. Let's have him worn out, because it was a big fall and big transfer as well. Peter Davison had had really big shoes to fill, and I feel like he didn't fully fill them. Of course, till we got. If I was a Who fan at that time and I was watching it, I would not have been won over by Peter Davison from Castrovalva, but he did get better at it, and I liked him as the Doctor. I don't think he's one of the best Doctors, but he's definitely memorable for his cricket stuff and the stick of celery. I also like the brief appearance he made in Time Crash in the 2007 Children in Need special. So, that's a dislike there. I also thought a majority of the story too was a little boring, but it picked up towards the end, in the last 2 parts. And that, but again, it was just a series opener, and that, and yeah, I mean, this was like the conclusion to like a whole trilogy of serials, you know, for the Master, you know, how he became regenerated and all that stuff. Yeah, um, so my ratings for this, I'm going to give Castrovalva, I'll probably just give this a 3 out of 5. Now for the next part of the show, the last, and that is on the Caves of Androzani. Let's go. So, the Caves of Androzani. So, this is the final serial of the Fifth Doctor, and probably one of Peter Davison's best stories as the Doctor. So, the Doctor and Peri, played by Nicola Bryant, who is a lovely woman. I've met her, and she was very nice. Yes, so the Doctor and Peri both go to end up on this remote planet called Androzani, and first looks like nothing's going on. They wander into this cave and fall into like these webs or whatever. Well, Peri does, and the Doctor brushes them off her legs, but then they notice that there's some pain in their well, Peri gets pain in her legs, the Doctor gets pain in his hands, and it turns out that they got some poisoning from these webs, and they're also being held prisoner, and there's a war going on, and well, basically I think there's villains from both ends, you know, Ceres Jack, who is one of the villains in this, and another guy, can't remember his name, but yes, it was that was what they were doing. So yeah, and then next thing the Doctor's racing against the clock to get the cure for this poison called the bat's milk. And Peri, she's obviously more badly infected with the poison than the Doctor is, because he only got it on his hands. And yeah, he races against the clock to try and save her and himself, and to get the bat's milk. So let's get on my likes and dislikes about this. What did I like about this? Well, part 1 was a little slow, but it was the start of a serial. But I absolutely loved this one. I liked everything on this. I liked the story. I liked the effects, even though they're not brilliant. But hey, it was 1984. You got to make do with what you had. Yeah, I enjoyed this serial. I think it was definitely Peter Davison's finest performance, and I think with him being in his last adventure, I think he wanted to go out in a bang. So he did great in this. Nicola Bryant as Peri, she did good as well, and you know the Doctor really cared for her because he was trying to save her. And also another thing I liked was towards the end of part 3, when a ship's crashing and it's like nothing can stop him now. We can see like him going through like this sort of tunnel, and I'm thinking, looking at it now, is that the regeneration starting to happen? But he refuses to change until he knows Peri's safe. Because he does find the bat's milk, but there's only one dose of it, and he gives it to her because he can regenerate. I like the final performance Peter Davison gave. Now, a lot of people say, I didn't know I was looking down Peri's cleavage, because yes, you can get distracted by that. And I will tell you, when I first saw this serial, I was like 13, 14 years old. My hormones hadn't kicked in much yet, so I actually managed to keep my eyes on the Doctor and Peter Davison and watch his performance, because he did a great job in that. In those final moments, his lines and everything, he gave a great and powerful performance in this. But looking at it now, yeah, I can't help but be distracted by her cleavage, by Peri's cleavage. That's very controversial, I think. And stuff. I actually had a chat to Nicola Bryant about that. She said it wasn't her doing, you know, it was the producers. They said, you know, because they were like thinking they were pushing the boat out a bit with her being like sexy and everything and that, but yeah, she had a good laugh. We both had a good laugh about that when I met her at Comic Con. Like, God, it was like 2 years, 2 years ago now. So yes, another thing I liked was the regeneration. Now, the Doctor sort of had like, he was like scared that he may be dying, because he did say I might regenerate. I don't know. We saw the companions from his run. We saw Adric, we saw Nyssa, we saw Tegan, we saw the android guy, and Tullo, all the companions swirling around telling him he mustn't die. And then we get like a brief cameo from the Master, laughing, saying he must die. And then next thing we go through like this tunnel, sort of like, I don't know, a tunnel we go through when we die. Either way, I thought it was a good effect for the regeneration scene, and we did actually, and you know, when he burst out of that tunnel and stuff, and we saw the Sixth Doctor, I thought that was a great end for Peter Davison's Doctor. And then we got Colin Baker as the Doctor, and even though he was like the Doctor for a brief second, it's like he knew exactly where he was and what was going on, and we will get onto that in the next episode of First and Last Reviews, when it's the Sixth Doctor. So yeah, Peter Davison did a great job in this. He gave it his all, and it paid off for him, and it delivered. And Colin Baker, I thought he did a great job making his opening scene, and that, with that line and stuff, expecting someone else, and then that change, my dear, and it seems a moment too soon. I thought that was a great ending to it as well. So yeah, that was the end of Peter Davison's run, but it wasn't the end of the season, because we had one more serial with the Sixth Doctor, which I will get to in the next one, like I said. So this is pretty much it for this episode of First and Last Reviews. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, share with your friends. All my social media links are down below in the description. Please feel free to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And until next time, run for your life.